Welcome back to the Cross the Middle Show. I'm your host, John Kuzma. We have two Buccaneer stories for you tonight. The first story we have up is the Tristan Wirfs story. Tristan Wirfs thinks the Buccaneers are going 12-5. Keep in mind, Tom Brady is out of the picture. Baker Mayfield has been inserted into the starting lineup for the Buccaneers. So what do you guys think? Do you think the Buccaneers are going to go 12-5, or do you think they're going to take a step back and be somewhere around 8-9 like they were last year with Tom Brady? To me, this is an interesting take by Tristan Wirfs because we all know what he's doing. He's trying to pump his team up. He's trying to rally his guys and get them excited for the season and make them believe that they can be even more successful despite the fact that Tom Brady isn't there. Well, it's not going to be easy. We know that. Baker Mayfield is a step backwards from where Tom Brady was at. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, maybe a young talent like Baker Mayfield can step in and maybe surprise some people. And maybe the Buccaneers can actually step up a little bit and show us something that maybe we didn't expect from them. That's what Tristan Wirfs is hoping for. He's trying to pump some life back into this team and letting everybody know that just because Tom Brady isn't here anymore, we're not dead yet. That's what Tristan Wirfs' mindset is. Basically, you have to applaud him because he's being a leader. He's doing what he has to do to set the tone for his team and be a leader for that football team. I actually like it because energy is a good thing in the sport of football. If you pump energy in a team, usually that team will perform better. Teams that are lifeless and flat don't perform as well. So you need vocal leaders like Tristan Wirfs who are going to step up and say, hey, it doesn't matter that Tom Brady isn't here. We got this. So like I said, I like what Tristan Wirfs did by saying that the Buccaneers can go 12-5. Is it a bold statement? Yes, it is. But hey, the NFC South isn't out of reach. It's still within reach. The Panthers and the Saints and even the Falcons are all getting better. You look at what the Saints have done. They got Derek Carr. The Panthers were getting better at the end of last year. The Falcons are putting together an offense. They have Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and now Bijan Robinson. So they have an offense in Atlanta. Still, that doesn't mean the ship has sailed for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's still time to get it together, and if Baker Mayfield ends up being a young player that can, rise to the occasion and make some big-time throws for this team, then who knows? Maybe the Buccaneers can surprise some teams. Maybe a successful season is still possible for this team if they do everything right. Now, there's less margin for error than there was in the past. They can't have a slow start. They can't have a meltdown. Those things you're able to come back from those things if you have Tom Brady. If you have a fast start and you melt down at the end of the season, well, you got so far ahead that it doesn't matter because you had Tom Brady. He rattled off 6 or 7 wins in a row. Or the opposite, you start off slow, but Tom Brady finishes the season strong, gets you into the playoffs, then you can go on a run. Well, it's a lot harder to do those things when you don't have Tom Brady. Obviously, Baker Mayfield has to be a lightning rod for this team. The one thing that Baker Mayfield can do well is he does play with his emotions on his sleeve. He does have a lot of passion. He can be a guy that, is a lightning rod for the Buccaneers and kind of pumps them up. Tristan Wirfs is stepping up too. So they have some young talent there that might be able to step into these leadership roles and, maybe take a few things that they learned from Tom Brady and, lead this team into the future even though Tom Brady isn't there anymore. That's where we seem to be at with the Buccaneers. Can they, shake off the challenge of not having Tom Brady, because if they can get a young guy like Baker Mayfield to step up and be a leader for this team, and if he can take what he did with the Rams and, use that positive momentum and use that confidence that he got with the Rams and help the Buccaneers get better and use some of that confidence and momentum he has from the Rams and carry it over to the Buccaneers, that's when I think you'll see the Buccaneers really hit the ground running with Baker Mayfield. I actually like that signing for them, because Baker Mayfield did do good with the Rams. He did step up a little bit out there in Los Angeles. So who knows? The other story we have is the Mike Evans story. We're staying with the Bucs. So Mike Evans has 9 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. He's going for his 10th straight season of 1,000 yards. And let's not forget, Jerry Rice has 11 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. So Mike Evans is chasing Jerry Rice. Now, I think when it comes to total yardage, I think Jerry Rice is pretty safe because Jerry Rice was on a whole nother level. Nobody's ever going to match what he's been able to do. It's like an untouchable record just because Jerry Rice has been so productive, or he was so productive throughout his career. Mike Evans isn't probably going to catch Jerry Rice when it comes to total yardage, but he does have a chance to catch Jerry Rice when it comes to straight seasons of 1,000 yards. He's going for his 10th straight season. He needs 11 to catch Jerry Rice. I think Mike Evans is certainly capable of it. He's got to be the guy that brings Baker Mayfield along, sticking with the Baker Mayfield story. He's just got to be the same Mike Evans that he's always been, even going back to Texas A&M. I mean, the guy has always been that tall receiver that runs like the wind, that makes so many big plays, that is just Mr. Reliable, even on a simple out route, even on a curl route, going deep. He does everything so well that he's been just in a league of his own up to this point. Really, there's no other way to put it because nobody's doing the things that Mike Evans is doing. I mean, stop and think about that. Ever since he's come into the league, he's never had under 1,000 yards. And I hate to be a stats guy, but at the same time, I mean, what he's done has been just so incredible that you have to acknowledge it, just because how many times are we going to see that? Even the greats will have a year where they might just go for 900 yards. Not Mike Evans. He always hits that 1,000 yards mark. So to me, I think he's definitely going to do it again, even with Baker Mayfield there, just because Baker Mayfield knows what he has. He knows that the offense has to flow through Mike Evans. He knows that in order for himself to be successful, he has to throw the ball to Mike Evans early and often. As soon as the season arrives, he's going to be throwing as many passes as he possibly can to Mike Evans just so the team has a chance at winning. They're not thinking about 1,000 yards. They're not thinking about throwing for 4,000 or 5,000 yards. They're thinking about winning games. The best way to win games for the Buccaneers is to get Mike Evans involved. You just got to keep throwing the ball his way because that's how this team is going to step up and win some games. Now, Mike Evans hasn't lost a step at all. You know, yeah, he's going into year 10 now. He hasn't lost a step at all. He's still, one of the top receivers in the league. Still, I think, a lock to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver someday. I like that he doesn't talk too much, just shows up and plays the game and plays it at a high level. Really down-to-earth guy that just lets his play do the speaking for him. How can you not appreciate that? There's so many guys that have big mouths and talk it and then don't back it up. Mike Evans is the opposite. He just lets his play do the talking for him, which is rare in today's era. And it's just another testament to Mike Evans and just how successful he's been in the National Football League. I'm excited to see what he does. I'm excited to see if there is a drop-off now that Tom Brady isn't there anymore. I don't think there will be. I think he's going to be just fine. I think Baker Mayfield's going to chuck him the ball left and right on game day. I think those guys are going to link up and make a lot of big plays for the Buccaneers offense. I think Baker Mayfield's going to surprise some people because he's smart enough to know that, Mike Evans has to be involved just right away. You can't wait around to get Mike Evans involved. He has to be the focal point from day one. Everybody in the Buccaneers organization knows that because they know how good Mike Evans is. That hasn't been lost on anybody. They all know that, he is the Hall of Famer in the room. There's no debating that. Everybody knows it. Everybody believes he's a lock to be a Hall of Famer already. So they're going to let the Hall of Famer do Hall of Fame work. They're going to let him do his thing. And like I said, I'm a firm believer that Mike Evans is going to back it up. He's going to help the Buccaneers stay competitive. Now, where they wind up, do they go 12-5 like Tristan Wirfs said? I don't know. We have to find out. Can they beat 8-9? honestly, they lost a lot of talent, but I do think they can be 8-9. I don't think, beating 8-9 is not in reach for them. I think they can be better than 8-9. It's going to come down to Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans. There's no doubt about that. They have to be the guys that light it up a little bit. They have to get hot, and they have to, stay hot. That's just the fact. The fact for them. They have to be the guys that set the tone for this team. Otherwise, it could get away from them. Really, that's all I got for tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you guys for listening to the Across the Middle show. Ratings are up a little bit, so I'm grateful for everybody that's listened. Have a great night.